What's going on, everybody? Propsuez back at it again with yet another video. Today I have my updated Voiceless Voice deck profile for you guys for post crossover breakers. I appreciate everybody's consistent support, and if you guys like this content, be sure to check me out on Twitch. I stream Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. I do wagers live on stream. I do any kind of questions. I do deck building. I play the Voiceless Voice and high rated every single day. So if you guys like this content, be sure to check that out. And I'm going to be streaming locals every Friday moving forward on Twitch as well. My Twitch is prophecywiz_. And without further ado, let's get right into it, huh? So to start us off, we have none other than Old Faithful, best card in the deck. 3 copies of Low. There is no deck without Low, so I definitely never played less than 3 of it. That should be self-explanatory. Then we play 3 copies of Diviner and the 1 copy of Trias. These cards are also just insane. If you open like combo pieces with them, then this can count as like non-engine because you just leave this in the graveyard. Still is going to summon a Low from the deck, and then this is going to be able to be a pop on your opponent's turn. That's very important. That comes up all the time. And yeah, this card has been like one of my favorite cards in the deck recently. So this card is, you have to play it if you're playing this deck. It's a 1-card combo, and it is also just crazy when you open it with other combo pieces. So Diviner is absolutely mandatory. It's mandatory probably forever. And we played 2 copies of Saphira. It's something I started doing in the last format and never really looked back because I've never wanted more than 2 of it since I cut it. It's one of those things like you should have 2, but 2 and 2 of this from pre-pro just felt a lot better. Felt like there was like less brick hands or clogginess rather. So and we needed to fit on engine. So 2 Saphira is definitely correct. If you haven't tried it, try it. Then we played 2 copies of Skull Guardian. You need 2 for the OTKs and for if they do something to one of them, so you can summon the second one out of the deck with the ritual spell. So 2 is absolutely the correct number. Don't ever play 3, and definitely never play 1. 1 Cerebus. Also don't play 2 of this. You definitely don't need it. You can search it whenever you need it. And yeah, there's just no reason you need to be playing more than 1 copy of this. It is really strong, though there is no deck without it. I wouldn't play the deck without it. But yeah, just play 1 of it. Negating Inherent Summons is crazy. A lot of the best hands are like when you end with like Skull Guardian, this, and both spells, and you have like 2 of this, 1 of this, and then the trap card. And we play Pendulum Graph for all the decks that are not going to be inherent summoning. Specifically, Tempai is going to be like the biggest one because they make you go first, so you know to set this up rather than this. And this card's really good. It summons from the extra deck. It recycles itself every single turn and just negates a spell. Super strong effect. And I think all 4 of these should be staple and should be something you should be playing moving into the next format as well. 2 Ritual Spell. I wish we could play 1, but you have to play 2. This card is, I don't know really much to say about it. It's just like it's an engine requirement given that you're playing Ritual deck. Even though most of the Ritual summons we do are not hard using this card. But you still need it. Then I play 3 Barrier. 1 Blessing, 1 of the Trap card. The Barrier is like a big portion of the reason that I think this deck has just stayed so good. Because you get to bury it like in a hand trap, like back when you back and forth hand trap war, if they don't exactly ogre this, you just get to Barrier every single turn. That's so oppressive because yeah, you force them to have an interruption for it every single time, which is crazy. Its bonus effects are super strong, and not being able to target any light monsters if you have light ritual and low, and you having to attack light ritual monsters is crazy. So 5 of these. This is really, really important for playing through Dimensional Barrier and Trap. These are obviously both very important and staple. I wouldn't play the deck without either of these cards, but thankfully we have them, so it's best deck. Then we have 3 copies of Nadir Servant and the Maximus. This card's resolving double engage. Please, please, you need to trust me and not play this deck without Nadir Servant. This is one of the reasons you would play this deck. Again, it's one of those cards that just is so broken. It's God tier going first, God tier going second. Yeah, there's really not a time where you wouldn't want Nadir Servant. This card is absolutely bonkers. So definitely make sure you're playing Nadir Servant. Then we are going to be playing 2 copies of Pre-Prep. 2 and 2 of this seems a lot better than 3 and 3 or 3 and 2 of this is Saphira. Feels like you open good ratios of anybody who's tested it. Has generally agreed and just been like, yeah, this is clearly way better to just play 2 and 2. So this feels much better. Feels like the hands are less cloggy. Have enough of your regular engine, have enough non-engine, and this card's very important because it plays through Shifter and Friends. So it's very important. Don't forget it adds from Grave for the Ritual Monster, and yep. Then for some of the non-engine, 3 copies of Ash Blossom. This card's just really good every single time. There's really not much to say about Ash Blossom. I mean, you should just be playing this card. If you're not playing Ash Blossom, you're playing the wrong deck, in my opinion. 3 copies of Effect Veiler. I like this because it pairs well with every other hand trap, and it's not once per turn. Super generic. Every single deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! You can use Effect Veiler against, and it's going to be pretty good. So I like hand traps like that you can just use every single time. They can always back up your end board, and they're good going second, especially the more you know what you're doing in a certain matchup. They can become more impactful. Tomb Mourner. This card's really good right now. It hits Witch and company, but into the next format, I still think like hitting the Malice cards is pretty good. Hitting the YuGiOh XYZ that searches is still going to be good. And this card just generically very strong. It's very good in Centurion. I think this is like the next best hand trap, besides all the other ones that I'm playing, which is why I'm playing 2. You also don't want to draw multiple copies of this. It's not quite Ash Blossom, or, yeah. Then we play 3 copies of Imperm. Imperm is, you know what I mean, it doesn't play in Talons. It's not once per turn. You can draw it as the 6th card and have it usually still be pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it should be pretty self-explanatory. Imperm is a very strong card, so definitely make sure you're playing Imperm. We want to have enough hand traps to be able to actually play going second, because some decks are just too strong when they go first, and it's not too strong against Voiceless, it's too strong against everything. Then I play 3 copies of Dominus Purge. This card's really good. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments of people saying, what about the YuGiOh cards? You're not going to play the YuGiOh package? Obviously, I would have proxied them for the deck profile if I thought I wanted to play them in the next format. The reason I don't want to play them for the next format is because they don't... It's the same reason I didn't play the Fiendsmith cards. And this is like a very good thing for people to learn about deck building, is you need to figure out why would I be losing, and what does this bring to the deck that is like an issue for the deck? And playing the YuGiOh engine brings absolutely nothing to the deck that the deck didn't have before. The deck is already crazy going first. It's insane into hand traps. The deck is just super, super strong when it goes first. The deck just needs more hand traps because the engine is so strong. There's such a large portion of engine cards you want to play that what you really need is more hand traps, not a YuGiOh package. Like, the YuGiOh package does nothing. It is not going to help you go second into something like Yubel. The YuGiOh package just brings you nothing. It does literally nothing for the deck. You're just essentially adding more bricks as far as I'm concerned, because this deck was already good. You're just adding more end board pieces and playing into the cards that you wouldn't have had to have before, like Fuvaros. So definitely do not play the YuGiOh package. Trust me on that. It's not good. That is not what the deck is made to do, and the deck doesn't need that. The deck is already the best going first. It needs hand traps, and we fit 14 hand traps in here, which is really good, because that it's not quite 15, but it's potent enough with how crazy the engine is. So we will move into the extra deck next. 1 Anima. This card's very important for breaking boards, like going into something like SB. So you're usually not slurping with it unless your opponent plays really bad. But it's very important to be able to send like a special summon low from the deep graveyard into this. And we have Almirage and Gardena. These help you play past Droll, and if you hard open Maximus, these are very good. These are also good into certain shifter lines, so you definitely need these. I summon these all the time. One Dynamundo. If you know what you're doing, you don't need more than one. You definitely need to play it, but one is the perfect number of it. I've been playing one, and I never need a second copy of it. So then I play IP and SP. SP should be pretty obvious. I mean, it's everybody's. You should be playing SP in your deck. SP is just a great removal card. IP is important because it's it's very good against Tempai, but more importantly, it's good with a lot of your lines with Diviner, like the 1-card combo and the 2-card combos with Diviner. Both require IP to be like the better end combos that they can be, and yeah, that's why we play it. Underworld Goddess, so that we don't get stuck against something that we cannot out. This is one of the flex spots, but you can also like IP into it, and it's been good for me. I don't summon it that much, but there's like no other cards that have felt like more important. I know people are gonna be like, oh, Aggregator, Malong. Malong is fine, but almost anything I would want a Malong, I could just Intis or out via like a different method. And like the things that you need Underworld Goddess, you absolutely have to, or you will lose. So that's why I play Underworld Goddess. Like I said, it's a flex spot. If you wanted to play Malong or something, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I play the one Odd Eyes Meteor Burst because I made deck Pendulum Graph, and it's the best thing to summon off of it. The Fusion and all of the other cards are just not nearly as good as this. It's good for battle phase protection, and it's even come up against like Despia, which obviously the best thing it's good against is Tempai, but I play 2 Intis. You definitely need to. Don't forget that Diviner can send Intis. That comes up quite a bit, so it's really good. And being able to send 2 of it off of Nadir going second is crazy. Garua, this is like the main thing you would send going first. Off of Nadir, you would like send this, and then you would send these 2 off the Maximus. These are all pretty much staple and standard. This draws and puts 1 to the bottom. This searches a ritual card. These are like part of the reason that the Nadir package is so crazy. And then like when you go second, you would send like either this or this and the Intis package generally. So very strong. Omega. Omega is really good for sending off of Nadir. You can get back some of your things like Blessings if you do happen to get rid of, like if your opponent does happen to pop them, you can get it back. And like you can get rid of like graveyard things like Garunix and things that you don't feel like dealing with. Garunix, princesses, etc. Just like things in the graveyard that you don't want to deal with, you can Omega away, and this card comes up all of the time. It also comes up to like send my own stuff back, where like I have sent Intis, popped a card, sent Intis and Omega, popped another card, Omega sent back my Intis, normal summon Diviner, send Intis, pop a 3rd time. Very, very good card, a lot of utility, and it's definitely the right for the job. And then Typhon, we play 14 hand traps in the main deck, and we side some more hand traps, so this card is really good for things like that. It can send itself back to the extra deck to not lock out the your Skull Guardian, but I mean generally like you do this when you're like by going back and forth, and this card is just a card that you definitely need to be playing in my opinion. So then for the side deck, I am playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. This card's another one that's kind of timeless. Just stops like Dark Ruler, anything. Like your end board is so good that you can only really lose to like Saki weirdness, and Judgment takes the Saki weirdness out of things. So this card is just really good. It's one of the cards that you would want to draw rather than a hand trap going first. Anti-Fun Floodgate Fragrance. This card is obviously also broken. Low places from the deck. It does not activate from the deck, so yeah, this card's insane. There can be only one. Low is a fairy. Skull Guardian's a warrior. Soravis is a dragon. Pendulum Graph's dragon, so you can just play like really freely into this, and like the Malice cards are all Cyverse. Even against like Snake, it's pretty good. There are I believe 2 different types in the Rise Yell deck, but they're they would almost always have to summon like 2 different types to summon their extra deck guy, and then usually like flip TC Boo, and they can't like summon anything from the extra deck. So pretty good. This card's this card's just broken. Like whenever you see this card, you just win against Yubel. Crazy. Call by the Grave. This card's obviously also very good. This card is really good into Shifter, good into Perulia, good into Droll. And then if they don't have any of those cards and you happen to combo, it's just like a good card into like the Fiendsmith. It's good into, and this card is just good into like so much. It's just a good card. If they don't have hand traps, it's still such a great card to set. So definitely would want to play that. And then save that 'cause that's one of the last flex cards. I play 3 Perulia. Perulia is really good. If you notice, all of the hand traps we play in the main deck, all 14, are cards that you would want to interrupt like right away. So I'll give you guys like the spoiler. We are not playing Fuvaros. Yes, I own Fuvaros. I just don't. I don't think it's as good. I didn't play it in my Centurion list. I seen Joshua Schmidt also didn't play it in Centurion. And it's just, in a deck like this, you don't want to let your opponent start comboing into the extra deck because you want a lot of your interruption cards before they would summon at that point. Like Ash, Purge, Imperm, Valor, Mourner, like all those cards you would want before they're summoning from the extra deck. So also Yubel can give you 3 draws, which is just a +2 and put up 5 interruptions. So I think most decks at this point just have a strategy for that and are not going to play very hard into it and give you many draws. So this one has felt a lot better, and like that's the theory behind it. But then that's like like how it has tended to play out is like this one's been really good, and I've never missed playing the Fuvaros. Like I said, I own them, just not playing them because I just don't think they fit really well in this deck. What I've played next is 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. I think Ghost Ogre is still really good. I think a lot of decks are playing the Bastille package with Regained, and you need to be able to trade into the Regained. If you're playing against Centurion, one thing I've noticed is like most of them are playing just 1 copy of the Crimson Dragon, and if you let them just combo, do nothing, just sit there and let them play and play and play, and then they go to the end phase, they activate Crimson Dragon, and you Ogre it, it does not resolve, and they only had that 1 Crimson Dragon. So in those kind of situations, they oftentimes are just out their Crimson Dragon for the game, and they will not be summoning any Blazars or anything like that throughout the game, and all you have to deal with like a Legacia here, like 1 or 2 Legacia, and Legacia is not good enough. So that's a little hidden tech. If you guys stayed till this point in the video, you guys got a little something out of that. I played Centurion at the last YCS. I played, I thought it was a good pick. I bubbled out, unfortunately, but it was super close to topping, and just the draw killed me. But nonetheless, I think Voiceless is better again in this current list, getting 14 hand traps. I was only playing 13 before, and I was playing 15 in Centurion with Fenrir, so it felt really good. But this version just feels a lot better, and I realized that ogring the Crimson Dragon is just insane. And ogring like in the mirror is very good. Ogring the Deception is very good. Ogring the Ryziel XYZ, it has to detach. The one that searches has to detach in order to search. It has to detach material. So if you ogre it, it's kind of like gigantic sprite. So it's very good against that as well. So definitely play the 2 ogre. The last hand trap I played was just the 3rd Mourner. I didn't want to clog out in the main deck, but I wanted 1 more hand trap that was like the most generic one for to get me to 20 hand traps, so that half the deck was engine, half the deck was hand traps. So I draw at least 2, but half the time draw 3. So Mourner, like I said, it's a next generic one past what I'm playing, and it's both of these are very good to draw off of Perulia. Then the last card in the side deck, I know a lot of you guys have probably been waiting for this. A lot of you guys might have been expecting Ultimate Slayer, but I do not like that card. I think that Cosmic Cyclone is just a lot better. I think Cosmic Cyclone is going to be good into a lot of the matchups that you wouldn't have all of the side deck cards for. I think it's way better than Nadir, obviously, in the mirror. I think it's very good into Runic Whitewood, which I think is going to pick up in steam. I think Labyrinth is going to pick up a lot of steam. And I think Cosmic is very good into all of those because you can cut them off from getting debarriering like Labyrinth. And then it's very good into Centurion as well. It can hit the field spell, but it also can hit deck lockdown. if they do happen to have deck lockdown, which is crazy. I know people are going to be like, you don't belong. The problem with Ultimate Slayer for me is that I feel very strongly about hand traps, and when you're playing 18 plus hand traps and you know what you're doing against a lot of decks, you're going to stop them on hand traps, and you're going to draw the Ultimate Slayer, and you're not going to have anything you can Ultimate Slayer away. And if they are then stopping you with hand traps, if you have to pass to them with less of a field than you would like, or not having a field, God forbid, you would want to have like just more hand traps. So that is why I'm not playing Ultimate Slayer. I think Cosmic is going to be good into just a lot of different decks next format, like the 3 or 4 that I had explained. And I think that it's you don't want to go over 20 hand traps in this deck because it becomes oversighting. If you guys want to see a side deck tutorial of how I use this side deck into the new matchups, let me know. I'll make a video of me showing off, like if I'm playing against YuGiOh and I'm going first, I would side this. If I'm playing against YuGiOh going second, I would do this. If I'm playing against Malice going first, I would do this. If I'm playing Malice going second, if I'm playing against Snake Eye or Yubel or Tempai, I can do them like one by one and kind of explain to you guys what should be sided in, what should be sided out, and the theory behind that. So if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate everybody's continued support. I'm super excited for this next format to get after it and start winning everything with the Voiceless Voice deck. Again, I was liking the Centurion deck last format, but I think this version of the Voiceless deck is just like the best deck in the game. I think it's better than Snake. I think it's better than Yubel. I think it's better than Malice and YuGiOh. It's better than everything else. So Voiceless Voice to the moon. Like I said, I appreciate everybody's continued support, and I will see you guys in the next one.